Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. I'm Georgia and today I wanted to show you my foundation collection because I have quite a few here, as you can see. Yeah, I just wanted to give you a bit of a run through to show you what I've got. I have started collecting them kind of recently. Obviously foundation is stuff that I've always kind of bought anyway, but I have just started adding more and more to my collection recently. So I just wanted to show you what I've got. So I've just brought you down here just to show you my tray of face products. I have my foundations, concealers, and then primers and sort of like face powders in this bit. But today I'm going to show you my collection of foundations. I have got quite a few. I didn't used to have this many, but I did start collecting them not too long ago. It probably was the beginning of last lockdown actually, to be fair. But I just keep buying them and I can't stop. This is my tray of foundations or sort of like face products here. So these would be like the tinted moisturisers and stuff as well. I've got some Colourpop, Revlon, Max Factor, It Cosmetics, Collection, Tarte, Morphe. I have 22 foundations, which is probably too many. But here we are, you know. Just get them all out and we'll just start from the bottom and see what I've got. Of course, I've got the two Revolution. These are probably like the OG for me. These are the ones I've been using for the longest, most recently. These are the Revolution Conceal and Define and the Conceal and Hydrate, both in the shade F2. I do kind of go between this shade and F1. It's just a slightly different undertone, but I've just got F2 here at the moment. I do really like these ones. This one is a pump applicator. And then this one is like the dofer, which I think they've changed it to just the pump now. One thing I will say with foundations is I do get very messy when I use foundations. It gets all over my hands, it gets all over the bottle and everything and all over the lid. So please excuse these dirty looking bottles. It's just foundation everywhere. I'm a mess. And then on to another favourite of mine. I've been using this for quite a while. Once again, it's a bit grubby just because it's been in my makeup bag. This is the Maybelline Superstay 24 Hour Full Coverage Foundation. And I use the shade 03 True Ivory. This one is a really nice foundation. It is quite full coverage and it is quite like matte and mattifying as well. I really like this one. This is one of my old favourite. Haven't used it in quite a while, but just because I've been getting other foundations and there's not too much of it left, so I really want to like save it. Another foundation I've had for quite a while. I don't really use this one much. I did start using it when I had it, obviously. But this is the Tarte Rainforest of the Sea foundation in the shade Fair Neutral. One of the reasons why I don't really use this one anymore, it is quite like watery and or like runny. And it's also just the way the pump is. It's just, you have to pump it out first and then get it out and then use the dropper to get the foundation out. Once again, it's very messy to use and I don't really tend to go for it, especially ones for like travel or anything. I tend to like use one of the other ones as well, it's just less messy. This is another foundation I use a lot. This is the Wet n Wild Photo Focus foundation in the shade Nude Ivory. I don't really know, well, this is the shade I use. I don't really know if this is my shade or there is a better match. I know they do a dewy one now, which I've been kind of thinking about getting, but this one has just got, once again, it looks really... It's like a spatula there. I'm so sorry for the state of these. These are quite like messy. That's just me. But this one is another favourite of mine. I do really like using this one. Another favourite of mine is the L'Oreal Infallible 24 Hour Fresh Wear Foundation. This one is in the shade 15 Porcelain. And I really like this foundation. It's more of like a medium coverage for me. But it just gives a really nice finish. It looks really nice on the skin. And with it being the fresher one instead of the matte, it's actually not too shiny or anything on my skin. My skin is more combination now rather than oily all over. But it does last really nicely on my skin, so I really like this one. Next, I'm going to say two new favourites. These are from Colourpop, the Pretty Fresh Hydrating Foundation and then the Tinted Moisturiser. I really, really like the Tinted Moisturiser. I think I prefer the Tinted Moisturiser to the foundation. But it's just so pretty. This is in the shade Fair 1N. And it does cover a lot of shades. It is really nice. It's just, it has a different application when you put it on with a brush or a sponge compared to just rubbing it on your face. I think I prefer using this with a brush, but otherwise it is really pretty. It is almost like a very sort of sheer, but a nice enough amount of coverage foundation. And it's just really nice and moisturising too. And then there's the Pretty Fresh foundation. This one is in the shade Fair 20N. I probably could use the 10N as well, but they didn't have it in stock when I ordered it, so I got the 20M, but otherwise it is a really nice match, so I think it might actually be the correct shade for me. I have tried ordering the concealers, but they just didn't turn up. I have kind of been like sorting that out with refunding and stuff, but I'll probably try and order them again in the future just to see, just so I get a match to the foundation. But otherwise this is a really nice one as well. I bought this one recently. I did use it years and years ago. This is one of the first few foundations I used. This is the Revlon Colour Stay foundation, the combination oily one, and this is in the shade 110 Ivory. And I just ordered it recently because I saw it for a good price on Fragrance Direct, and I decided to go for it again because everyone always raves about it and stuff as well. And I have used it in the past and I did really like it. Another product I bought, which I used a lot when I was younger, this is the Max Factor Miracle Touch foundation. This is kind of one of the ones, maybe not sort of the first one I used, but the first one I remember using. I remember carrying it around with me and using it, and it's also got like the sponge in the top. I don't know, it's just so like memorable to me, this foundation. And it is actually quite a nice finish and coverage on it too. This was in the shade Creamy Ivory 040. I'm not sure if this is the shade I used to use when I was younger or not, and it is slightly too dark for me, but I can get away with it when I put it on and kind of like blend it in and put the rest of my makeup on. But otherwise it's maybe just a slightly different undertone or something for that. So yeah. Oh. Foundation that I bought recently again is this Colour Your Own Long Lasting foundation. This was on sale on Boots online. I thought it was being discontinued, but in store they're still full price, so I don't really know. But this one is in the shade 101, I believe. Yeah, that was the lightest shade they had online, and I actually got it for quite a good price. So I just went for that one to try it out and everything. I actually really like this Morphe Hint Skin Tint as well. This is the hint of Ivory. You do need to give it a shake when you first use it because it does kind of separate. Give it a really good shake. But otherwise, this is a nice shade and a really nice, it actually has quite a nice amount of coverage to it, even if it is like a light skin tint, has a really nice amount of coverage. And I bought this one and I was using it around the same time that I bought the Glossier skin tint, so I hadn't had that to compare it to. And I actually really prefer this Morphe one. It has so much more coverage and it actually does something to my skin and makes it look nice and everything as well. That is quite a good one. I just don't really reach for it too much now, especially because I've got my Colourpop moisturiser. I tend to use that instead. Like I was saying, with this Glossier skin tint, I didn't really like it too much. I know it is quite pricey. I bought this one and the concealer together because I wanted to give it a go. This one is in shade G12. This was the lightest shade they did. I don't really like it. I don't really feel like it does anything. I feel like you need to put a lot on, and it being quite liquidy, it's hard to get a lot on. I much prefer the Morphe one for terms of coverage and everything as well. This one I just don't really think it did anything to my skin. I just didn't really like this one personally, but it might be for you. You might like it. I've also got the It Cosmetics Your Skin But Better CC Colour Correcting Full Coverage Cream. I actually do really like this one. It is a nice colour on me. This was in the shade Fair. I just don't really use it too much just because I kind of reach for, once again, my Colourpop one and everything now. But otherwise this is almost like a foundation. It has got a nice amount of coverage to it. It's just a little bit pricey, but obviously if it's something you like, this one was the little one that I tested out. I think it's like £15, £20 to £15 for the smaller size. Maybe even less than that, but that is a good way to kind of get into it and see what shade and whether you actually like the product or not. And I do quite like this one, it's nice. This one is the Collection Lasting Perfection Matte Foundation. I haven't actually used this one too much. I bought it because of the concealer for this has always been raved about. My sister's got the concealer, but otherwise I got the shade Porcelain number 2. And I haven't really given this one too much of a try yet, so I will have to use that one sometime soon to give it a go. Same with the Tarte Concealer foundation. I got this one recently. It is slightly too dark for me. This is the shade Fair Neutral 13N. This was just one that was in a set, so that's where it came in that colour. Otherwise I definitely would have gotten a lighter shade. But this one, I haven't really used it too much to know how I definitely feel about it yet, but it's just there in my collection for me to use when I'm ready to. There's the Kat Von D or KVD Beauty Locket foundation in the shade L42 Neutral. I've used it once. I did put too much on and I was like, oh my god, look how pale it is in my skin. But then once I blended it in, I put the rest of my makeup on, it actually looked really nice. This was just a little one, mini one again. I think it was about £9 possibly. But just to give it a go, I haven't used it too much once again, so I'm gonna have to give that one a go again soon as well, play around with it. Then we also have another Revolution one. This was just one that had kind of left over that my sister's given me. This is the Fast Base Stick Foundation in the shade F1. I don't really use it too much because there's not much left there anymore, and I do prefer like liquid foundations compared to stick ones, but otherwise A stick one is quite a nice one to use and have when you're going on the go and everything. Have it in your bag and just put it on quick and blend it out. The other ones I have here are this is the Primark My Perfect Colour Perfect Finish Foundation in the shade Porcelain. Once again, I haven't really used it. I used it once for a video and I've just kept it in my collection because I haven't really gone back to it just yet. But obviously I've still got it there. As well, I remember, I think it was a pretty good kind of matte shade for me. Shade match for me. But I just haven't really given it much of a go. There is the MUA Pro Base Long Wear Matte Finish Foundation. I personally didn't really like this. I didn't really get on with it. I haven't used it too much once again, but I just didn't really like it the first impressions. This in the shade 104. I think it was a little too light or cool toned for me, so I might have to try in a different shade, but otherwise I didn't really enjoy it too much. Once again, just personal preference for that. And then I have the Lottie Selfie Ready foundation. I've also done a video on this. I think this is the lighter shade in Ivory, but it was very dark for being the lighter shade, so I would love them to bring out new shades. They only do 6, it's either 6 or 12 they did in this actual range, which is very disappointing for a foundation. I understand you can't always cater to everybody, but it's just a shame that they don't have more shades, light and dark, for people. And then the last foundation I have in here, which I haven't actually used yet again either, this is the Avon True Colour Flawless Liquid Foundation. This one is in the shade Porcelain again. I did buy it with full intention of using it or doing like an Avon look for a video, but I just haven't really got around to using this shade. I think I've tested it out, but just not actually properly used it yet. So that is another one that I will have to use again and see how I feel about it. So hopefully you enjoyed the video and I hope you like the look of my foundations. Let me know if you have any other similar ones or what shades you use and whether they are better for like undertone and everything as well, if you have a similar skin tone to me. Thank you so much for watching and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye!